the cardboard cut out, and pretty good fit. Well, I've got my template pretty close, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer it over to the material here and see how that comes out. We'll come back. I got to make it a little bit longer down on this end here. Well, I got a pretty close fit here. All I have to do now is mark out the spots where these fittings are, where they I got to make some holes to go through these bosses right here. That'll be tricky. Well, it's not professional, but it'll work. It's got the hole here for the slot and everything, so just take your time. Anything can be accomplished if you just take your time. I'm going to make another one up. I think I'll double them up. Well, now I've got a double layer in there, and so I can stick this back on, forget it, maybe forever. Well, I was getting ready to put some distilled water, and I got my antifreeze on. I was going to run the distilled water through the radiator first and run that through instead of wasting the antifreeze being toxic. It'd be easier to get rid of the water if in case I have any problems. And I took the fuse block out of there's a big panel that fits in here that has the lever that goes down to the lockout mechanism that holds the brake shut. And then, I don't know if I did, if it ain't another thing, it's one thing. Let me show you. Remember I had the key in, and I showed you, but it wouldn't push the pin out the side to lock and I was thinking at first that I had an extra washer in there, but only on the top under the nut. So I checked again with a flashlight, and the pin was, close to the hole, so it should have gone in, but it wouldn't. So then I thought, well, I'll take some spray silicone and spray in there and see if it needs a little bit of lube in there. So then that's all the farther the key goes in now. I just did that one thing. Put some spray in there. Now it won't do diddly squat. So I've got my pick out. I took it apart to see the locking mechanism in here, and there's probably a special kind of fitting here for a locksmith to be able to pull the guts out one end. But I'm not going to try that. And this is another one of those things. I can get the lock mechanism for the helmet, for the seat release to get to the fuel tank, but this is a no item. This is, unless you can probably get one on Interbay or eBay. And and I was just getting all the power or the panels down, and I did some painting on and they're hanging over here on the metal rocker panels underneath. So I don't know. This may go under plastic again. We'll see. See if I can get. I got my dental pick out to see if I can get whatever's blocking the inside out. I can't remember if there was a doorway in here that may have come off and now is jamming up the mechanism inside. We'll come back. Well, I've got it to where I can get the key in, but can't get it to turn. It's not the locking mechanism, because there's still free play under the little, there's a cam in here that raises this lever that drives the pin in and out. There's something in the lock. I don't know. We'll come back. I may have to just completely drill out this thing, and there's a clip in here, and I don't know if I get the clip out, if I have to pull the pin too. I don't know if there's a slot in the back that lets it slide out. Maybe there is. We'll see. After much deliberation and consternation and just about everything I could think of, I decided, well, if I want to get this damn thing to run, I need to, get that ignition switch turned on. So I was able to put this in my jaw horse and a little persuasion with a screwdriver and so now the locking pin comes all the way out. So now I got to make sure the switch is working. Pull the cover back here. I was going to, before I went and jammed it over there, I was going to take and figure out which ones or which contact go to each other. Because basically when you turn this on, you're just making contact. It's like a flipping an on switch. There's no on these things, there's no accessory position. It's either they're on or they're off. So when they're on, the only thing, all the lights and everything will come on. The only thing that would be separate would be the start switch. And so I want to take my meter out now and check and see which ones cross, and then to be sure that between the on position and the off position, that when I turn it on, then these wires are making some continuity across these solder points. I did find, doing some research on this, the helix or reflex, helix I believe it is looks like the same housing, only the key is upside down. So instead of turning it, say, this way to on, it turns this way, the opposite. So well if I can get this to work, I'm not going to worry. I got to get the engine started first before I worry about any of the other things. I've got the boot off, and I've been checking around here. Which one am I on here? On the red. I'm getting continuity. The thing I'm finding really interesting is in here out here there's 5 wires. 4 in the plug, and let me get back here. In the plug there's 4 points or pins, and then the 1 external pin. But in here, in behind, you can't barely see it, down in behind here, there's another black and white, which is what this goes. So somewhere up in here there's some sort of connection, a solder joint or something, because it can't just come up and back down again. All these are there, but right in behind there's another black with a white tracer. So but I'm getting continuity across these big ones when you turn the key, so I should be able to use it now. I'll put it all back together again as best I can. You'll notice that all the plastic's off again. I was putting on the speedometer and was having problems with this over here, and this handlebar on this side needs to come up about 1/4 inch. Looked okay, but it's not, so I'm going to have to pull this off and see if I can manhandle it. I may do something else too, because I noticed when I was putting the lock back on the other side, I got a thick washer underneath here under the handlebars. I need to take it off and switch it with a thin one, and that will lower it down to where the lock will work. 2 steps back. Well, the grip came off pretty easy. I just stuck a screwdriver up in. Now it wants to stay on. Gee. Oh, like I said, they started out, I stuck a small screwdriver up in here and stuck the nozzle on my little can of silicone spray down in here and just sprayed it all around, and it slipped right off. But you can see how it wants to go back on and stay on. So I need to get some sort of leverage to give that a lift. I should have saw that before, but I didn't think it was part of the damage. But you never know. Well, I think I've got it. I put 4 of my 40-pound weight bags on the front end, and then I have this big long metal tube here. I was able to get up underneath of it and reach. When I first did it, I pulled it up too much, and so I had to go back and bring it back down again, but it was measuring off the floor from lock to lock about the same distance. But one thing else I did to check on I got the center of the scoots lined up. The wheels are pointing straight forward, and I put a 4-foot level across the mounts for the mirrors on both sides, and I checked it against this level right now, and I checked it against what the scoot's setting on the floor. It doesn't set level. I have to shim up the right hand side in order to get the scoot level, and it's shimmed right now, so I'm satisfied that this bend is correct, and I put this back on again. Let me start assembling the speedometer unit again. Well, I got it on to where I got the clearance I needed again. It's still kind of distorted in here, probably from the wreck. And there's this flange in here that went in behind as a cover it, but I broke it. But while this was off again, when I went to put this all back together again, I had moved the handlebar, see, what was it, too far this way. I had the height right, but I bent it forward, and so when I tightened up one of the screws in the front to pull this front part back, there was like a 1/4 inch gap, so I had to manhandle it aft, and it's working. I may even take a Dremel or something and cut this little outside edge off here and round it out. It's cracked here anyway, so make it fit a little bit better. Well, I've got the old T-Max battery you can see down in there. Let's see what happens. I got a click. I did this a couple minutes ago, and I got a click. Yeah, the turn signal works. Horn barely works. Yep, its battery is not worth a shit. Yep, new battery. At least I know one turn signal works.